Warlords of Draenor timewalking is now live. You can get into that. We got Neighborhood Endeavors going live, surprisingly, during Prepatch. That was something Blizzard just announced yesterday. Also, what's happening with Prepatch, some of the stuff you'll be able to do, and then a really cool little tidbit on raid buffs that Blizzard added in, kind of under the rug. So let's get into this stuff. Turbulent Timeways is now live. We got Week 7 of the Turbulent Timeways, which means we are now in the Warlords of Draenor version of this. So you can get in here, do your WoD dungeons, get your cash, do all the fun stuff that you've been doing if you've kept up with this thing. I was gone for a little while, so I haven't done any of this in quite a while. But a couple of the rewards that'll be available this week. You got yourself a little bit of a garrison-related items, right? This one's actually really cool. We got a full-blown greenhouse here. I can imagine people creating a house within a house at this point with the creativity I've seen out of housing. But a few little items here. Also some WoD-related weapons, so very orcish, you know. I would say what you want about WoD. The theming was pretty damn cool. So some cool-looking weapons here. Damn, this one's actually a badass two-handed sword. I think this is like Logarsh related or something. This is a badass sword. A few other things here. You can go ahead and get your fill of all the WoD-related items here as you go through the Turbulent Timeways. Again, continuing through this, getting the Masters of Turbulent Timeways achievement for 5 weeks of the event will give you unlocking one of these mounts, and then you can purchase the other 3 with Time Warp badges. But that's how that whole thing is working. Moving on to what Blizzard announced just yesterday. So on Twitter yesterday, Blizzard kind of dropped this little update here on what's coming with Prepatch. And one of the interesting things here was Neighborhood Endeavors. We thought we weren't getting Endeavors until the actual expansion hits, but it looks like we're getting it in Prepatch. And I want to preface this by saying you might want to do Endeavors even if you're not into housing. And I'm going to give you a reason why here, something that surprised me when we were looking at things that could be looted from Endeavors, but we'll get into that. I'm going to get into some of the details of what exactly is going to be available. Also, Night Elf and Blood Elf exteriors are going live during Prepatch, so I wasn't expecting that either. I thought we're going to get into some of the more versatility and housing features when Midnight goes live, but it looks like we're getting all this shit in Prepatch. So really, as I said before, Prepatch is the launch of Midnight this time. It's really going to get us into the beginning of the expansion and have a lot of fun. Besides that, we see that with Neighborhood Endeavors, look, the way that Endeavors are going to work is it's a quest line, right, that you pick up. Basically, the neighborhood's going to pick which quest. There's going to be a neighborhood manager that selects the quest if you're like in a guild or something like that. If you're in a public neighborhood, the quest line will be selected for you. And what these really are is they kind of work like the trading post works. So Endeavors are thematic activities that take place with player housing neighborhoods where players complete tasks to earn new decor, housing XP, crests. Interesting, right? Crests. You can get yourself some crests out of this and so much more. Is your neighborhood ready to take on Endeavors? So going through Endeavors, yes, it's going to be very much like a neighborhood-wide activity, but you're going to want to participate in these things if you want to get some of the stuff that actually becomes available once Endeavors are completed and potentially get crests. I don't know what the number of crests are going to be for this, but some of these things, as you'll see when I'm going through some of this, are going to be very repeatable in terms of quest lines. So is this going to be a way to grind out crests? We'll have to see how all of it works out. What's going on Unreal Blue? But first off, the way these things are going to work, you're going to have complete neighborhood tasks to earn neighborhood favor. Fill in the Endeavor progress bar with Neighborhood Favor to advance the Endeavor initiative, and then you unlock vendor wares and stuff, and you get other milestones as milestones are met. So you'll basically unlock some of your some different vendor items and things like that. Now, choosing the Endeavor, as I said before, basically will be chosen by a neighborhood manager. We'll pick kind of the Endeavor every month that the neighborhood will be doing. The exception, as I said before, is for your publicly available Endeavors that will just be selected for you. And then sometimes there'll be specific Endeavors for a month that fit the kind of the theme of the in-game events going on that Blizzard will just kind of make as a selection for everybody that month. Now, completing Endeavors and player housing, as I said, once the Endeavor has been chosen, all members of the neighborhood will be able to participate in advancing it. Endeavor tasks, quest givers, and vendors will become available. Often a portal appropriate with the Endeavor will also be made available to teleport you out to the places that you want to get into. Sam, you darn vibrant. I don't even know what the hell you're saying, Moishi. Besides that, we also know that you'll be getting some Endeavor XP bonuses and things like that for the neighborhood favor. Besides all that shit, we know that community coupons are going to be rewarded for these things as well. So this is why you're going to want to participate if you want the items that are rewarded with endeavors. And that's because, yes, the endeavor can just be completed by the people in your neighborhood. But the rewards that you can get for completing these are community coupons, and these are going to be needed to purchase the items that become available thanks to completing the endeavor. So if you don't participate at all, yes, you'll be able to purchase the items, but you won't have the currency needed to purchase the items. So you're going to have to complete some of these endeavors if you actually want some of the stuff that's going to be rewarded. Now, the crazy thing about this to me was the rewards of, first of all, you got gold, experience. Hey, maybe this will be a way to level up for people who don't want to actually play the game and just want to be housing Andes. Housing XP, the crests, to me, is the interesting thing, and then community coupons, as I said before. Endeavors include vendors who sell decor items relevant to the themed endeavor. As endeavors progress through milestones are reached, more decor is unlocked from the vendors. Endeavor vendors also accept community coupons to purchase the items, as I said before. You spend your coupons at any endeavor vendor, so if you are visiting your friend's neighborhood, which has an endeavor different from your activities, you can actually spend your community coupons earned from your own neighborhood's endeavor on items in another neighborhood. So that's kind of cool too, some cross neighborhood shit going down. Sam isn't going to do any of it. Well, if I want a specific item, so say like there's some Northrend related shit going down in the endeavor, and there's some really cool like Lich King furniture, maybe I want it. I'm not really a housing Andy, but maybe I want it, so maybe I'll do it. But the other thing that's really interesting about this is the crests. Right, like maybe completing some of these endeavor things is like a really quick way. If you don't get a lot of time to log on, you go do some of these and earn some crests to upgrade your gear. That might be like kind of a backdoor way to earn crests to actually do this shit. I'm assuming you'll also be able to get stones. Stones aren't going to be a thing actually. So you're only going to need the crests. So that's pretty crazy. That you'll be able to literally upgrade gear by just doing endeavors. Again, it depends on how much they're going to be rewarding with all these endeavor quests, but we'll have to see how viable this is in terms of actually upgrading your gear by doing endeavors. Besides that, with Prepatch, we know we're getting this whole Twilight's Blade, Ascension, whatever the hell they're called, Prepatch event. So when we first go live with the Prepatch 12.0, you'll get a quest line that'll be given to you automatically, telling you, oh, go run out and do this shit called the Cult Within. You'll receive it automatically. This is a short quest line that leads you to the Twilight Highlands to disrupt the Twilight's Blade, who has been rebanded as the Twilight's Hammer Cult, now loyal to Xal'atath. Completing quest lines will unlock world quests in the Twilight Highlands. As you unlock these things, you can access more of the Twilight's Blade rare spawns in the area, which you can kill for Twilight's insignia, which will be, of course, your currency, right? Another event, another currency. What can I say? No surprise there. Blizzard loves their damn currencies. But this currency will be used to purchase rewards exclusive to the Prepatch event that you can obtain by doing things like killing Twilight rare mobs, doing the world quests, and 40 insignias per week for doing Twilight's Call and Disrupt the Call, which are once per week warband bound quests. So you'll be doing those, getting your crests, or your insignias, I should say, to purchase some of the shit. Now, what kind of shit can you purchase? Well, you'll be able to buy a few different things. For one, a mount, the Restrained Sky Razor. This is what that thing looks like. It's another, what's going on? It's another Buggy Boy mount that you'll be able to get. So go out and get it if you want. I'm kind of over the whole buggy shit. Any kind of bugs or any mech suits at this point, I feel like we got so many of them in the War Within, they don't really excite me anymore. Besides that, there's 3 little pets here that you can buy, some housing decor, obviously, if you're into that shit, and then a few different ensembles, one of them related to the old-looking cultist ensemble. So you can go ahead and look like one of the old cultists from Classic WoW. Besides that, there are 2 different titles that you can earn, I should say achievements. 2 minutes to midnight, defeating all rares summoned by the Twilight's Blade during the Prepatch event. Completing the achievement gives you the Light Forged Mech Suit mount. There you go, another mount. And then the Crunching of the Cultists. Win the Twilight's Blade Strat Gem game in the Twilight Ascension camp 50 times. The Strat Gem game is a simple tic-tac-toe game. So there you go, a little mini game within the game. So it doesn't look like anything too crazy going on with this Prepatch event, just kind of another typical Prepatch event that we've been getting, but looks like there'll be some a fair amount of things to do. Besides that, I mean, there isn't going to really be much to do before the actual expansion goes live. And one more thing that Blizzard kind of slipped under the rug. How many times has the raid pulled shit and we don't have a buff, or somebody in the raid doesn't have a buff, or the buff was done, but then some people got summoned after the buff was done and they didn't get the buff? Well, there's going to be a new way to realize that that has happened. That's right, Blizzard is adding a glowing effect that'll overlay a buff for the entire raid if somebody in the raid does not have the buff. So it'll basically indicate like, hey, you need to re-put up Power Ward Fortitude, right? Because somebody just got summoned and they don't have it. Or somebody was far off in the distance running, doing a corpse run, and they weren't near the raid. And once they get close enough, that'll start to glow, indicating like this needs to be rebuffed. This will also happen during combat. If a buff drops off during combat, you'll see a glowing indicator saying that it's a nice feature. I agree. This is a nice little kind of quality of life feature. No longer do you have to track if everybody in the raid has the buff. If everyone doesn't, if somebody shows up, whatever, it'll have a little glowy effect, and then you'll know that you need to reapply the buff to the entire raid so that everybody in raid has the buff. Hopefully we get more quality of life shit like this going forward. There's been some iffy stuff going on with add-ons that we'll probably talk about later today. But for now, that is all in terms of news.